Greetings everyone. So today I am going to be quickly-ish, hopefully, going through all of my rifles, pros, cons, and should you buy them or not. So let's first start off with my first rifle I've ever purchased, my Mosin. I have them all behind me. Oh crap. Oh, there she is. So, here's my Mosin. I've shown her off various times on this channel. Absolutely beautiful. Made in 1938, so it is 85 years old. So, my Mosin is a fully matching Tula. I'd show you the markings, but you can't really see them too well on the camera half the time. And I definitely don't have good enough lighting in this room. This is my bedroom, by the way. I'm recording in my bedroom with all my guns. Yeah. So, I absolutely would recommend you buy a Mosin because there's a few reasons. First off, you can probably find it for pretty cheap. Second off, the ammo, 7.62 by 54 rimmed, is also very cheap. 60 cents a round for the steel case stuff. You can get higher quality ammo if you wish. I would recommend just looking on some good websites for ammo. You don't have to go to some specialty store. If you can find a good website with good reviews and good reputation, make sure you do that. Then, you know, get your ammo there. And I would not recommend using surplus, especially if it says like Yugoslavian surplus or Hungarian surplus. Stay away from it. Anyway, don't use throwaway in it. It's not designed for that. You will destroy the rifle and probably hurt yourself. This thing is beautiful. It weighs nearly 9 pounds, but it's metal and wood, and it is strong like Soviet bear. I love it so much. It has so much personality. There's a lot of dings and scratches and rust, but it is beautiful in its own awesome way. Also, it's a very accurate rifle. Bullseyes at 100 yards, not that big of a problem, even with irons. And I've put over 800 rounds in this thing, and I'm going to keep shooting this thing until I need to rebarrel it. Oh man. So that's another, what, 10,000 rounds or more, something like that. So I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. And in 15 years, it's going to be 100 years old. So that's pretty crazy. Let's move on. The next one is my SKS. I was really brief with my Mosin because I've talked a lot about it before on the channel. Now, the SKS, would I recommend getting one? If you can find one in good condition, I would absolutely recommend it. 7.62x39 is cheap. It's a good rifle. The trigger is horrid. Not like the Mosin trigger. The Mosin trigger is a dream. It is beautiful. This is my Chinese SKS. You might find, say, like a Yugoslavian SKS. I think they exist. You might find a Russian SKS. But what you'll never find is an East German SKS. If you find one of them, that's a unicorn rifle, and you'll never see it again, and rescue it and take it to a museum, a firearms museum, to preserve it, because honestly there's like less than 7,000 of those. Yeah, East Germany used to make SKSs, somewhat. But this Chinese one is as old as my dad. It was made in 1957, and my dad was born in 1957, so I think that's pretty freaking cool. The sling is original. I don't know if it's original to the rifle, but there's also, on this sling, some Chinese characters. I don't know if it's Cantonese or Mandarin. I couldn't tell. I'm not even going to try and show it in the footage. It says 7.62 with a bunch of numbers and symbols. Comes with a bayonet and low recoil, pretty accurate, easy stripper clip use. The Mosin stripper clips are fighters, but that's fine. It's to be expected with that big rim. The only problem I have with it is the trigger and the fact that this bolt moves so fast that it will stovepipe quite often. But it's a range toy. I don't really care. And, you know, some ammos are better than others. I need to find Fiachi again. If you know a place where I can get Fiachi, like an online store that is reparable, tell me, because I want Fiachi ammo again. It is perfect. Anyway, this rifle is awesome. Would absolutely recommend. Plus, it's sexy. Alright, here is my 1894 Marlin Repro. I'm allowed to have a red dot because it is a reproduction. If this was an original, first off, this thing would have been way more expensive, and this thing was already the most expensive rifle I have. I know, really surprising, right? This thing was like $1,400. Marlin, you're up your ass. It is 10 plus 1, 45 Colt, 45 long Colt. It does not exist. 45 Colt is the caliber. Long Colt isn't really a thing, it's just a nomenclature. Smooth. Smooth all around. The lever's smooth, the trigger is smooth. No recoil, absolutely zero recoil. This thing just sort of happens. When it fires, it goes pop, and you're like, huh, I felt like I shot a Nerf gun. It's just, there is no recoil. This thing is, I do like it, but I wish I instead got one of the M1 carbines. Yes. There was an M1 carbine for sale. At the gun store, I got this. Stupid of me, I know. I should have gotten the M1 carbine. Because, oh my god, the M1 carbine is cool. Anyway, this thing is really, really cool. The caliber is whack and kind of expensive. It has like 75 yards of range, and then it just sort of just falls to the ground. Like, it's like a cartoon yodel to the ground after 75 yards. But I do like this rifle. And plus, this octagonal barrel and just the construction, this thing, you couldn't break this if you tried. Which I appreciate, because a lot of American firearms tend to be fragile. I'm stereotyping, by the way, and not that great, but this is a good one, even though Marlin is a bit expensive. If this was a Henry, this would have been $500, and it would have been the same thing. Regardless, good rifle, I would recommend, but 45 Colt, get it in 45-70 or some other caliber that's actually a little bit more available. 45-70 is expensive. Let me scratch that. Like 44 Magnum or 357 Magnum. Anyway, moving on. And here is my most modern rifle. The Kel-Tec RDB. It is my 5.56 rifle. I've shown it off before. It is, quite frankly, awesome as hell. Why isn't this in Star Wars? Like, you'd think that this is like some sort of Spec Ops, like, say, Death Trooper or Spec Ops Rebel Force sort of like stealth blaster, right? Like they would use this for sort of espionage or something like that, you know, something compact and small. I don't know. It's very sci-fi. It's tactical beach plastic. But, you know, it's made in Florida, so it is crazy. It ejects out here, if you can see that. I'm fingering the ejection port. I probably can't show that on YouTube. I don't really have anything to say. 5.56 can be very cheap, but it can also be bullshit in terms of its price. I'm not spending $1.50 for 5.56. I will spend 60 cents for 5.56, and it's already pushing it, because that ammo should be dirt cheap. Because, come on. Anyway, this rifle has a 20-inch barrel to make it Maryland legal, and it wants heavy, because this is a 1-in-7 twist. So it wants heavier rounds. So if you have like leftover 5.56 from something and you get one of these and you're like, why are the groups weird? You might want heavier rounds. So get the 75 grain, 77 grain, that kind of stuff. Or just really high velocity seems to work too, but more likely you're going to want heavier stuff. This thing doesn't recoil. It also has an adjustable gas system. You can adjust this like crazy however you want. You can adjust it so you can run it suppressed. It's fantastic. This was $1,100. You could probably get it for much cheaper if you go into a store and they have one used. I swear, you could probably get this thing for $1,000 or like $900 or something. This is one of the rifles in my collection I would absolutely recommend to anybody. If you're just getting into firearms and you want, you know, like a 5.56 223 rifle because the ammo is cheap and soft shooting and accurate, this. Or a Palmetto State Armory 5.56 AK. But if you want something funky, this. It's sci-fi. Dress it up all sci-fi. Put neon on it. Put a suppressor on it. Make it look like, you know, something out of like Cyberpunk or Star Wars or hell, anything. Because, again, this is a movie prop. Anyway, moving on to my last rifle. The Type 99 Arisaka. I don't recommend this rifle. There's a few reasons. First off, it's rare. Second off, it's even rarer to find one that can be fired, because this one can. It is not a late war. It doesn't have a chrysanthemum, there's no dust cover, there's no anti-aircraft sights. And third off, the ammo is going to make you go bankrupt. It's $1.88 a round, and that is some of the cheaper ammo I found. Yes, you heard me right, some of the cheaper. However, if you do buy one you can afford the ammo, what you're going to find is that this thing is really accurate, very good trigger, at least mine does, good bolt, stripper clips I don't have because they're expensive, I will eventually, and you know, you can also just hand load, and it's fun. Like, this thing kicks more than the Mosin, but it's just fun. Also, you can tell it was designed for someone smaller than the average American, because it is, you know, look how tiny that is. Like, this thing is small, but it also weighs like only about 7.5 pounds, so it's actually a rather more handy rifle than the Mosin. This thing also came with its bayonet, which is basically a small sword, which is cool. But the ammo's expensive, so I would not recommend getting yourself a Type 99. If you do find one, especially if you have a Type 99 sniper or something like that, first off, I hate you, and second off, take good care of it. If instead of this, it would have any bolt action other than this, it would be either a Gewehr 33-40, which is like the precursors of the Kar 98K, or even just the Kar 98K, like the early war ones, or just a normal Kar 98, or a 303 British, why am I saying that? The Lee Enfield Mark I Star sniper rifle. Is it Mark I or Mark I Star? I don't remember, it's one of those. But this is good. Or a 6.5 Percano. Ooh, yeah. Cheap ammo, low recoil, awesome Italian rifle, and really cool clips. Bandoliers, actually. Anyway, I don't recommend getting a Type 99. If you own one, you're in the same boat as me. You're like, oh, fuck this ammo price, but fuck, this gun is so fun. And man, it's a perfect hunting rifle because you wouldn't mind carrying this around all the time. The Mosin is a bit long and cumbersome. This, hell, I could carry this on a trek, but I'm not a hunter. This is just a plinker. Well, hole puncher, because I've never shot steel. Anyway, so, would I recommend any of my rifles? Yes, every single one of them, especially the RDB and the Mosin Nagant, but not the Arisaka. The Marlin, it depends on who you are. If you are a cowboy fan, if you are a guy that really likes the cowboy aesthetic, you probably already have some type of Marlin. But regardless, all that being said, it's just my opinions on these rifles. I love my gun collection, and it's only going to get bigger. I want a Tokarev pistol. I want a Tokarev rifle. I want an FB Barrel. If I could own one, I would have a G3, but I can't own one in Maryland. Isn't that fun? I also can't own an ACR, which should have replaced the M4, and also I can't own an FAL, which is really stupid because the FAL is cool. I also can't own one of the original M14s. Not that I care. I would rather have the Italian M14 because it's an M14 that actually works. Shade aside, I love my guns. And I hope you guys like seeing them too. I will have more shooting videos eventually. The gun range I went to, I'm not going back there again. Too many FUD bullshit, especially around my Mosin. I'm not dealing with that crap. No. I'm not going to do a full video on it other than I'll just say I'm not going back there. And when I do more gun content, I'm going to be doing basically what Kentucky Ballistics does. So that's going to be in the future. I don't know when, but it will happen. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, in Trilby, we trust.